Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting and amazing Propagandacast from the host Imperial Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero psych defender of the fatherland, off here to a 2v2. Oh, you guessed it is Eindhoven Country, north is Bulat and IncaUna fighting for the Red Army of the Soviet Union. Comrade Starling and the 2nd Guards Mechanized Corps here with Mechanized Support tactics and Guard Motor featuring anti-tank and ambush tactics, Guards Rifle Infantry, marked vehicle, strafing runs, ISU-152s, T-3045s, heavy mortars, more guardsmen, self-repair and more marked vehicle. In the south it is Scotch and Crossfire fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland here with the 78th Sturmgrenadier Division with Mechanized Assault, Jäger Armor, Blitzkrieg, Elite Armored, Overwatch and Special Operations. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon support. Without them and their support, the Propagandacast would not be possible. Also big thanks to Little Nimpo, hope I got that name correct, for donating and support the Propagandacast with his hard-earned money. Big thanks to anyone else who may donate or have donated. Links in the description for those who do wish to donate via PayPal. And finally, commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing is another way to help out the Propagandacast. So, east side here, Scotch moving up the steadily for Deutschland with an MD42 Grenadier start. We got a Dumb Sniper start for Bulat and IncaUna here with triple conscripts. Probably second unit squad after that. Barbed wire up here as Crossfire's looking to secure some advantageous terrain here close to the opponent's field point and carve point here. Definitely some foresight here by Crossfire, but will this pay off? We'll have to see. East side here, Scotch further fortifying the ruins himself as well. The barbed wire here around a lot of the heavy cover, and that way denying the opponent any advantage positions around the fuel point, making it hard for them to hold it or even attack into it. So a lot of work there going on here. West side here, we got Crossfire moving ahead here for the German Army, 3rd Panzer Grenadier, or Sturmgrenadier Company in this case. Scout car on the way there for Bulat, more engineers that's expected for IncaUna, more grenadiers and followers there for the Germans. Followers of the engineers there. For those wondering what the 78th Sturmgrenadier was, it was a rather unique experimental assault infantry division that was very heavily equipped compared to like even some Panzer Grenadier divisions. They obviously weren't motorized or anything like that, but they had a lot of firepower. They had heavy mortars down to company level, which is pretty rare, anti-tank guns as well there, and they had a larger amount of light machine guns for a regular infantry division. They also had a full Stu brigade attached to them. So, anyways, heavy fighting here there. Troops being outmaneuvered here. As you can see that IncaUna is quick to slip up behind Crossfire here, catching Scotch off guard, who's of course still focused on the eastern side here, getting a wipe here in Crossfire. Definitely a bit of a hurtful blow there to the German army in the early game. Couldn't use another wipe. That's a smart play there by IncaUna and Bulat there. Completely blindsiding here. Scotch, of course, is still focused on just trying to secure the castle ruins, but we see that IncaUna with just few forces are doing an excellent job of tying up a larger part of Scotch forces here. I mean, obviously, if you're fighting on the eastern side of this map, Mechanized Assault and just getting some assault grenadiers out is not a half bad idea, so it can definitely help the Wehrmacht fight much better in these castle ruins, as you definitely want some close quarters troops for that. Or at least that's my own personal opinion. And being outmaneuvered here, need to quickly deal with that. Obviously, it's going to be tough here at the same time. Bulat IncaUna trying for another angle here as well. There's suddenly again having just turned on Crossfire. Now he turns on Scotch. Scotch here with full force there. Really some aggressive maneuvering here from IncaUna. Really just going in hard here, and the Germans are definitely trying to keep up pace. They got Crossfire moving up, but now Bulat is moving to assist as well here with the scout car with a flamethrower in it. We can see the situation getting pretty dicey here for the Germans. We got 2 squads here retreating for Scotch. In fact, he's been pretty much pushed off the map. A really strong side here for the Serbs, but that's it. They might be able to get the scout car here. That would certainly help the German out a bit. Here we go. Combusted, Engineer slipped out in the open, and we got penal troops here for Bulat as well. Their fuel on the east there being secured with mines and sandbags here. IncaUna not missing a beat here. Taking advantage of what's effective, a massive distraction here from Bulat to fortify the eastern fuel point there a bit. Sharp play there. Meanwhile, the Germans are going to have to, run after to catch up here. Battlefield headquarters for Crossfire. Still no German commander here. Sniper there, of course, plinking away there, taking German lives without any mercy shown. We got medics here up for both Soviet players as well here. 500 to 442. Troops heading out there for Deutschland. Like to make a note for Scotch. A light vehicle there could do a lot of good. Armoured car or a half-track. People do have a slight tendency, I think, overlooking half-tracks in my own personal opinion, but World Handler 251 half-track can be an excellent tool in any Wehrmacht player's hands. We'll, of course, have to see what he ends up with. Our again, he's pretty fortunate against the penal troops here in the centre. Fortunately, Sturmpion support moving in as well. Eastern fuel point being resecured, going for Northern Victory Point. Strafbar there rounded here as Crossfire and Scotch are now merging together here for a fairly large assault formation. Here, Sniper gets a kill there. 4 kills for the Red Army. Medics there for Crossfire. Armoured cars expected for Scotch, though crucially no commander yet here for either German player. Kind of commandant. Illustrate, I could see Crossfire going for Elite Armor T or Spec Ops, so it could still be like Overwatch. Mine goes off, we're killing 2 Sturmpioniere. Still got the sniper here, so a lot of attrition there from Bulat versus the advancing Germans, plus Bulat can go for guard squads once he gets the manpower munitions for it, but he's actually rushing ahead here himself in terms of tech. Might be a fast anti-aircraft chaff tech, might be a fast T-70, but the anti-aircraft chaff would definitely be the fastest, as he more or less has pretty much all the resources for it. Like, he just needs a bit of manpower. He's got the fuel, there we go, got to go for it now, and then can he, like, I think get the court mount ready, so he could try and rush out the anti-aircraft chaff tech. It would obviously have some risks attached to it if he loses it. That's going to leave Bulat very much out to dry. But on the other hand, it could also really give the Germans an absolute nightmarish situation to deal with. So, you see there, Scotch now a bit more dug in. We got barbed wire, we got machine guns at ready, armor coming to help deal with some troops on the flank. Crossfire meanwhile reorganizing, getting ready there. Nothing further happening there for the German player. We got mechanized upgrade there as well for the battle headquarters, and the almost wiped out. Guard squad there for Bulat, so clearly going to be the T-70 here, and certainly it makes a lot of sense here. Guard squad with the T-70 are a fairly strong tactical formation that you can operate with. So it's sniper quad here with the Fulton Grenadiers. Crossfire there, of course, looking to snuff out that fellow there, but falls a bit short here, in part due to the many received active bonuses, or the high received active bonuses the sniper active possesses. We've got assault rifles over, definitely give the German infantry a significant boost in the firepower. There's the Surge troops here. South here, Penal troopers, Flamefingers going for the Sturmpioniere. Up here, coming hit with the Grenadiers. We got the Armored car nearby supporting. Eastern munitions being, or Northern munitions, I mean, being, but that's Eastern as well there. Northeastern, let's go with that. Munitions being seized. We can see the Germans are now getting hard back here at the Soviets. Whatever losses they'd suffered, they are definitely looking to, well, inflict on the Soviets and take vengeance. Vergeltung. Front of the Grenadiers here. More troops bringing in here. They are hard on the move with the light machine guns. The armoured car here. The Germans are seizing the initiative. And the Soviets are starting with this. So, of course, Bulat's got the T-70 right around the corner. And we got here IncaUna following with the T-70 as well. Then the Germans, I don't think, are quite ready for that. I mean, we don't have any anti-tankers for either side. In fact, it looks like Crossfire's rushing to hit himself for something like the Schwerpanzer quarters. But there's no Raketen, there's no packs, no Panzerschrecks, no Telemines, nothing. So, definitely not right. So we've got 2 squads here retreating already. So they got the car point, they are denying the Soviets enough fuel, but they chose, I think, about to return the favour to the Germans. We'll have to see how they react. Second truck out there, and again, I have to stress this. Okay, we are getting a pack forward now for Scotch, but no commander still. A lot of action, a lot of manoeuvring here, a lot of aggressive pushes here from both sides. The longer this goes on, this could be Blitzkrieg. It will still be Mechanized Assault, honestly, or Jägerarmor. And certainly, you typically see Jägerarmor in case the other chaps go for example, Mechanized Support and get the ISU 152. So I imagine Scott's long-term choice here will be Jägerarmor. But again, he could surprise us all and not go for it. Guard squad there for IncaUna as well. As for Crossfire, I mean, Elite Armored, and particularly on a map like this, could be fairly handy. The Sturm T could definitely catch a lot of units in wrong positions and utterly obliterate them. Though we could also go for Spec Ops for infiltration tactics and the Command Panther, even the Sturm Office here. So we'll have to see what exactly Crossfire here is envisioning as his path to victory for the Reich. The Kettenwerfer there for Crossfire, obviously responds to the T-70s arriving. That is, of course, a full 2 light tanks here, filled with death and destruction, salvaging the scout car there. Thumbs up to him, but sadly for him, we got here IncaUna looking to run that. Yeah, salvage these comrades. Scheiße. Sitting up the west side with the Sturmpioniere. Again, good harassment on the fuel point. These Germans, while they have harassed the Soviets a bit, they haven't quite been able to do quite on the same level as what the Soviets have been doing. Schwerpanzer calls over around the car point, may well not yet authorize it. And I'm guessing we're looking at all of a sudden here for Crossfire as a tool to try and turn this game around with, as they could definitely do some heavy lifting against the Soviet infantry. That will be needed. As for Scotch, just 4 Grenadier squads here. A solid foundation, of course, any Wehrmacht force, though I would like personally to see some Panzer Grenadiers. But that's just me. Good hit on the T-70 with the Kettenwerfer here. Punches a large hole into it. Second rocket, though, goes a bit off the mark here. Up north, machine gun advancing here. Pretty bold there by Scotch. Maybe hoping to use the bait for the T-70, dragging into their Pack 40 here. And looks like IncaUna might be taking the bait, at least somewhat. Of course, the terrain means you can just dive the T-70 out of the way. Quickly just take a sharp corner turn. There we go. It's gone. Machine mean we're getting flanked by the engineers on the side, so certainly a few flaws there if there was an attempted bait there. So it's back in control of most of the map here versus the Germans. The Germans will need to do some heavy lifting here soon. Heavy mortar for IncaUna. That is definitely going to be a headache here for the Germans, particularly on a map like Eindhoven, and in particular for Scotch. And the east of the heavy mortar can be an absolute nightmare. There's not exactly a lot of room to move about it in the first place. So heavy mortar definitely has the potential to make things worse here for Scotch, particularly with his 4-man squads, which are in particular vulnerable to the heavy mortar. Scotch taking up as well, and I think for the Germans, they are definitely making the right move. The faster they get up medium armor, I think the better the chances are of turning this around sort of a bit more long term. Because right now, the Surge is definitely like dominating the early mid game here. Partly getting the map, part of that early advantage they got, they completely gained up on Crossfire there before Scotch could react. So I think definitely moving towards medium armor is the smart move there. That said, the lack of a commander here from both German players, I continue to find slightly disconcerting. Armored car providing excellent fire support for the Gunners and East State Guardsmen there being ripped apart. We got the T-70 moving in here, and the center point being seized. On the west side here we got forces of the Guardsmen, and we got the T-70 Strafe happening on the west side. More mines going off somewhere, and we got Orbison out here as expected for Crossfire. Adding the light machine gun, thumbs up. But still, the Soviets are doing an excellent job here, keeping the Germans in place. Close to getting the T-70 there, but again, the terrain makes it hard to finish it off here. Heavy mortar at the position there. No support more core yet here for Scotch. Obviously doesn't have the fuel anytime ready for any armor, but still having it ready in time could be in. Oh, he's going for tier 4. Yeah, I don't think, again, that's going to be a great move. I always find it slightly confused playing Wehrmacht players, if they're behind, they will go for tier 4 in the hopes that somehow bails them out. I just never quite understand that one. They just risk conceding more resources and terrain to the opponents. Meanwhile, we've got mines, we've got sandbags, so it's obviously not missing a beat here to further fortify against the Germans. Crossfire that's getting close to the Panther 4 here. Of course, he could also transform for something bigger than a Panther 4. We'll have to see if he does that, but I do think that would make the German situation look worse. We do get a fuel cache here for Scotch, at least. We do get a fuel cache, of course, realizing he will need a fuel cache to at least make his tier 4 moves somewhat work. It does also help his teammate push for a Panther 4, but he wants fast as well there, so the fuel cache, I think, is, from a lot of perspectives, a very sensible idea here by Scotch, if anything. Also, the positioning is very good because it's close to the space. Also, crucially, the screen barred things, so the opponents can't easily get to the fuel cache even if they wanted to. Meanwhile, it is worth noting the Serbs have yet to build the Mechanized Support company, so at least the Germans aren't quite in the worst spot yet, which would be, significantly behind while being hammered by T-34s. But again, I will stress, I don't think it's the optimal move here by Scotch to try and go for tier 4 now, but at least he's building a fuel cache, which makes it slightly less, I think, of an awkward move here by him. Germans need to get a bit more control of the victory points against the Serbs, and also, I think, crucially need to hit their fuel supply. We'll have to see next. Meanwhile, though, at this point in time, I do think we're looking at roughly a minute here before Cross and go for the Panther 4 Molgay. Oh, he could get the armor card, that'd be great. Oh, T-70, it could be great here for the Germans. It would be amazing even, and none of the shots penetrate here, none of them. It's a reverse helping Hans. Anyways, armor cutting pursuit here, coming in there for the kill. Got it. Straight into mine there with the Volksgrenadiers. Eastern point there, we got the gunners moving about here. That was really lucky there for IncaUna. I mean, the armor card does have a reasonable chance of penetrating the T-70's armor, though you really want to get behind the front there. So, fairly lucky there for IncaUna. Fairly lucky, and definitely going to be a continued then problem for the German army here. Ground Western victory point, very good. Still no Mechanized Support coming for the Soviet players. Again, that helps out the Germans somewhat. Heavy Panzer Crop there for Scotch. And Crossfire can now go for the Panther 4 mode. And again, I would strongly recommend that. still since it's actually armored could open up, of course, for just using heat shells, which is obviously pretty good. And there you go. Panda for mod here for Crossfire. Thumbs up to that. Scotch, meanwhile, there with the heavy pants core still going up. We'll have to see what it goes for. Then these change to the conscripts here, the 3rd Infantry, fighting stalwartly against the German menace. Sturmpine caught sweeping a mine there. Oh, they need to get out before the mine gets set off under them. There we go. Narrowly managed to get the job done and retreat. Teasing pursuing the Sturmpine here. Good hit by the cannon from the T-70 here. Good hit from the Pack 4 and the T-70 there. That was the Strafbart here, all of a sudden moving in there. Bomb grenade attempt there didn't quite pan out there for the Germans, but we got the Panther out here. Still no command of the father German player. We are slowly approaching the 20-minute mark, which is always there where I think, you pretty much lost like any advantage, just being slightly, more cautious about going for a commander. So we'll have to see if they do go before something the 20-minute mark, but that moment there, I think it's slowly closing in there. Panther moving forward here, adding the Pentamat machine gun. Looks then they're slightly speedy armor. Typically you will not go for the Panther commander, so it could be Spec Ops, could still be Overwatch just for the Sector Assault, which is obviously an incredibly powerful ability to the point again players will just go for the commander simply for it. But that said, the Search could counter with just going for an anti-aircraft tower tag, honestly, at which point it's not going to be that good. T-35 in the wait for... got a wipe here on Bulat. He scored Exterminate, that's a bit of luck there for the Germans, but there's still a long way to go. North here, Pioneers being outmaneuvered here as IncaUna once more probes the eastern castle ruins. Scotch with a force rapidly moving in there. Bulat is floating a lot of manpower. He's also not got a lot of infantry. He could consider some more guardsmen here, or tank or fuel caches. We do have the Mechanized Support company here with a T-35 almost on IncaUna, of course. That'll definitely make things more challenging for the Germans. We do get a Sturmpanzer here for Scotch. Obviously great versus the infantry and support weapons, but noteworthily, of course, a little less great against the T-45. So, still, the Germans have somewhat managed to stabilize. The victory points-wise, there are still issues. They got the Sturmpanzer Fiat here, still no commander for either German player. Again, we are getting very close to the 20-minute mark. Second Pack 40 here for Scotch. Another Panzer Abwehrkanone. Almost got all 3 victory points there for the Red Army. That's after some of the Germans will want to put a stop to very schnell. Heavy mortar fire there continue to be an absolute pain in the pursuit there for the Germans so far. Fortune for them, it's only managed 5 kills. We've got a field gun there for IncaUna. Sturmpanzer rolling here with 150 on the gun, and there he goes, shoots whiffs. T-35 moving up the strength of the Pack 40. Target wake point here could be pretty good versus the T-35. You can time it correctly, but no, T-35 they use the train to quickly get out the arc of fire. Good work there. Grab the eastern victory point, moving on the center one. Western one being grabbed there by Crossfire. Sturmpanzer is going for that heavy mortar. Decent shot there, but ultimately does a bit of damage. But at least forces it to retreat, which does nonetheless relieve some pressure off the German front line here. Finish with the T-70 here. Grab the western fuel point, very good there for Deutschland. Right into the mass of advancing conscripts. Constantine there blown to bits. Other troops being mauled here by the MD-42. Friedrich there cleared out here by the T-35. Hack shoots, gets a good shot in there. Sturmpanzer about there, crossing bits some of the houses there. My God, Jürgen, where did you learn to drive? Well, I can't see very well in these things, do you know? I got a little letterbox to look out of. Stop complaining. Grab these to victory point here. Pioneers with the pack support going forward. So you're going to hunt down that T-35. Going to destroy this Marxist armored menace right out of Minsk. Sturmpanzer goes straight here for the cartsmen there, pushing them back. T-35 they need repairs. shoots, and decent hit there on the west side here. We got the Panther, we got the Sturmpioneer. All of a sudden there's the gut Penal Troopers there. We got the field guns firing at the Panther, pushing it down to half health here. No Panther force, so likely either Panther at the moment could be Scheme Tier or a Storm Tiger or a Command Panther. Now several options still for Crossfire, and we have hit the trying to win mark there. So again, the Germans really at that spot. There's just not really much benefits, like just, you know, still waiting for a commander. But also feel like betrays some lack of an overarching strategy here. There we go, Crossfire then does go here for Special Operations with Radio Silence, Storm Officers, Infiltration Tactics, Infiltration, and of course the Command Panther. That leaves your Scotch, and again, part of me does expect an elephant here. Bulat Malay is loading an intense amount of resources. He's obviously just starting for the ISU 152. I'm surprised I still haven't seen a fuel cache at least assist for that a bit. Damage in the Sturm Panzer 4. A mortar there causing further chaos among Scotch's forces. On the west side here, Sniper T's moving back. We got the field guns being held forward with Bulat as well there. Field gun bombarding, eastern victory one being seized, western one being seized. The Germans are doing what they can to keep the victory point gap between the two sides close, but the Serbs are obviously doing what they can to widen it. So now Crossfire here at the 21-minute mark can go for the Command Panther, and there we go. Befehlspanzerkampfwagen 5 gefechtsbereit. What will Scotch do? What will Scotch seize upon? That's the big question there. He obviously has several choices here. But again, it feels like it's going to end up being IncaUna. Bulat meanwhile getting very, very close to the ISU. I mean, he easily has the man post close to the field. He just needs the command points at this point. And I'm guessing it's basically just what Scotch is waiting for. It's just that sign that he's, you know, knows he's up against Mechanized Support. Go for the elephant. As crucially, I mean, Bulat had made use of nothing else than the commander, you know, that could have really given any, like, hint of it. I mean, we've seen only guards. We haven't seen, for example, the anti-tank and ambush tactics, and the Mark V could also even be guard motor. So there's not really like any telltale signs here from Bulat yet to Scotch that he has gone for, you know, Mechanized Support here. Buttoning up the Sturmpanzer here, but that can only take you so far. And there you go. Huge losses here for IncaUna's guard squad there. DP light machine gun dropping the dirt there. The man who wielded Yevgeny doesn't really have any arms or any other limbs to hold it with. Panther for Scotch, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. But again, crucially, no commander still. So he's clearly keeping the possibility of, like, you know, an elephant open here still. It does weigh heavily on his mind. Oh, close one there. Had IncaUna been a bit slow to retreat, that could have been an entire new squad wiped. We got 3 and 45, 212. We got the Panther on the west side here, folks are supporting here. And we got the Command Panther support as well here. So the infantry and support weapons are being pummeled here as Crossfire and the 5th Panzer Gun Company, or Storm Gun Company charge ahead here. We got the Storm Panzer moving in here. Pushing back so troops. We got 6 kills on it. Veterans 1 north side here. We got Gondiers under Scotch command moving forward with Pioneers as well. Looking for any socialist mines laid down. Panther gets good and the T-70 Command Panthers. And we got the regular Panther out here for Scotch. The Panzerkampfwagen 5 Ausführung A. And there you go, Bulat at the 24-minute mark. Can call in the ISU 152 Heavy Assault Gun, also known as the Schwerer Boy or Beast Killer. Adding the Dishka Pinback machine gun. So, once of course Scott sees that, he will, I imagine, as like, you know, almost by reflex, just go for IncaUna. Panther shoots, misses the T-70. Falling back with the Panther then, the Sturmpanzer, ISU rolling forwards. Of course, the issue for Scotch is, like, even he does go for the Jaeger armor, now it's going to take some time to get the Elephant out. As he kind of went for that Panther. Got it from the Tiefert from the Sturmpanzer. Back four lanes of fight shot there, shooting forwards, and Rakeman's going to spot it, shoots, punches through the frontal armor there with the ISU, but yeah. At this point, Scotch, of course, should be aware of it, or he soon will be. Shot there on the Volksgrenadiers. Interesting enough, we're not seeing any immediate shots of Jaeger on, which is fairly surprising. Again, he hasn't picked anything for ages, which again would make you assume it's the ISU 152 that weighed so heavily on his mind here, but I'm guessing not. Perhaps just Scotch is really just hesitant here, can't make up his mind. It's not impossible. Goes right here with the Guardsman. Panther at it. So at that point, the question does become, if it's not the ISU that's been worrying Scotch so much. Okay, there we go. Finally got a command. It is Blitzkrieg with command tanks, Panzer Tactician, tactical movement for console fighters to close air support. ISU almost fixed up here. Aircraft taking some air fire there from German anti-aircraft guns. Command Panther being fixed up. Panther 4 repairs as well here. Two kills on the ISU, going to need to retreat. Panther on the right flank, going to be tapped with the T-70. We got Feeling backing up. We got March going down here as well for IncaUna. Try and take out that T-70. Good shot there from the Panther. T-70 will take two more though. Sturmpanzer repairs, and we got the H-35 out here for IncaUna, having lost his T-45 previously. Got the Command Panther moving here. Panther 4 still about as well there. ISU turns and shoots, bounces off the Panther's frontal armor though. In the actual war, the high explosive shells of the ISU 152 packed so much high explosive power they could actually do like significant damage to the tanks internally. As a fun fact, so technically the Sturmpanzer 4s that apparently packed shells with even more high explosive firepower than the ISU 152. You just don't hear so much about that. But you know, little fun side fact there, in some cases, like you pack enough high explosive shells into, into a shell, it can still damage like even fairly heavily armored tanks. So, fun fact there. It's not looking too great for the Germans at the moment. They'll need to launch a proper attack here. The question is, where do they land? It looks like they're both going separate directions. We got their Panther moving in, Panther for supporting. We got the fields on the ISU falling back, and there's also crucially a lot of mines here that makes it harder for the Germans to just dive after the ISU 152 and outmaneuver it. So the Soviets had to that degree fairly insured against such a maneuver. One option, of course, could be trying to come up through here and flank behind this way. I think there are fewer mines here. There's still some. Panther there heavily damaged already. The marked target, of course, has just made it an easier target for Soviet firepower. Smoke deployed here. I'm guessing Scotch may try and go for another Panther here. But we'll have to see what he actually does. It's just a consideration. As for Crossfire, Jagdpanzer could be a nice addition here. Of course, another Panther 4. Grab Northern Victory Point. We got the 323, which is 144. West side here, we got the Orbison retreating, having had another mine. Cap mine there, of course, has been done with a great degree of consistency and skill. They were both Bulat and IncaUna, though I would say mostly Bulat. IncaUna hasn't been quite as big on mines, though that's not to say obviously hasn't been mining at all. And certainly as the game goes on, you sort of got plenty of bases to spare. It becomes easy for the Studs just like throw down a lot of cheap but very efficient mines all over the place. North England for the two Country squads. Going forward here, and there you go. Sturmpanzer integrating on the field guns. Almost got both wiped out here. That's it. They will still be in the minesweeper. Come up and forcing it from the H-85. The ISU 152 is over here. There's also plenty of field guns. Sturmpanzer there getting hammered. Got the other field gun. Smoke popped here as Scotch fervently tries to pull back his Sturmpanzer away from any lines of fire. Got one field gun destroyed. The other one's been quick by some guardsmen. In the center, the situation is a bit of a mess. Otherwise, we've got repairs going on here for Scotch. We can go for the second Panther now, but will he go for it? He's maybe going to go for a Command Panther. Another Sturmpanzer? be a bit bananas. But the situation here for the Germans is definitely rough. You got the Chiefs still kind of scanning in there. Good hit from both packs here. Need one more shot, but the ISU is on the job here. Aircraft knocked out of the skies, and then Katyusha fire on the pack, wiping one pack here. Pack number 2 shoots, whiffs completely. The Kemp's Neebars getting hammered here. The situation for the German army is looking pretty bleak at this point. Casualties are mounting, and crucially, they are making no progress, or really inflicting like anything of like similar like level of, you know, violence on their opponents. Panther 4, they're about to get knocked out. Nice hit on the Panther. Also, they're being absolutely murdered there as well. That's going to be alright, I think. Unless Crossfire has some insane luck here. Got the Panther moving again for Scotch. No additional armor. Yep, all of a sudden wiped out. Ultimately, no surprise, but no additional armor here for Scotch. Could indicate some fatigue at this point. Has certainly been a grueling match, I imagine, for the German players. This is farming forwards. Getting Panther fires here, damaged engine. Panthering up the flank here. Again, there's a lot. Actually, interesting enough, this part has not been as mined heavily as it could be. So. Flanking the issue farm with the Panther. Good work by Scotch. Good hit there. Casualties piling up for the Germans. Got 323 versus 62. Going here for a flank perhaps against the Soviets. Of course, they are mines nearby, still here. Need to take a deep. Oh, managed to dodge one. But can he dodge on there? Goes straight to mine in front of 2 field guns and the ISU. Plus the 85 looks like to be a death sentence of the Scotch's 1 Panther. Shot went through the frontal armor with ease. And there we go. Scotch and Crossfire surrenders. And loss here for the German army. A brutal match in Eindhoven that just ended up poorly for the Germans. I mean, opposite besides the obvious, you know, don't stall for tier 4, in particular not when you're actually behind. I think the other issue with the Germans was just in part no commander chosen until like over 20 minutes of the game. I think that did not do the Germans any favour like turning this around either. I think they should try to seize the initiative more and been more aggressive against the Soviets, so to like exploit gaps. That said, the Soviets I think also played to their strengths. They also had good teamwork. They knew how to, like, you know, again, get the most out of the Soviets at crucial moments, which I think also favoured the Soviets quite a bit there over the Germans. So there are definitely, like, you know, various factors at play here. But again, yeah, no, generally just don't blindly blitz into tier 4. It, in my experience, can work, but most of the time it doesn't. I think had he gone for, like, you know, tier 3, gone for commander sooner, and someone had Crossfire gone for something sooner, like ultimate use of the Sturm officer, which I will stress is actually quite a good unit, I think the Germans had a much better chance in ensuring the match would have been much more equal, I think, at times than the next 2 was. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment, all that. Consider donating or pledge on Patreon. This is Imperial Linking. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope you'll tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.